Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes, and welcome to the 8th video in our series on classic guitar riffs. Today we're back to Creedence Clearwater Revival and their 1969 smash hit, Fortunate Son. This is an interesting guitar riff in that the tune was originally recorded in the key of G major. However, John Fogerty played the actual riff in the key of A major on a guitar that was tuned down one full tone, two semitones. This becomes really obvious if you do a search on YouTube and just type in Creedence Fortunate Son Albert Hall, and you'll find a pretty scratchy video clip of Creedence playing live at Albert Hall in London, playing Fortunate Son, and you'll see that Stu Cook on bass and Tom Fogerty on rhythm guitar are clearly playing the song in the key of G, but John is playing the riff in the key of A on his black custom Les Paul Gibson guitar. And that just lets him play the riff in a more natural fingering position. So today we're going to learn the riff in the key of G, but we'll also have a quick look at the same riff in the key of A, so you can understand why John Fogerty preferred to play it in the key of A and tune his guitar down so that it came out sounding as if it was in the key of G. As always, I'll play the riff through on my acoustic guitar, and then we'll switch over to the Gibson electric and I'll record the riff in the key of G. I won't do it in the key of A, but I'll record it in the key of G as I'll take you through the notes on the acoustic, and I'll double track my Fender electric bass and add in a drum kit just so you can hear the spirit of the riff when played on an electric guitar. This riff is based around the chord of G major. I'll just play the riff through first and then we'll talk about it. Now remember, when John Fogerty plays this, even to this day when he performs live, they are not the fingerings that he uses. He actually plays it like this. And you notice that quite distinctively, because he's playing it in the key of A, he can leave the open A string ring on when he goes through that second lap through it. But for him to be able to play it in the original key of G, of course, he tunes his guitar down the two frets or the two semitones to do it. Let's focus on, we'll take you through just the original fingerings that I played here in the key of G so that you can play it with the recording, and 9 times out of 10, if you play this with a band, they will play it in the original Creedence key of G major. Okay, so we start right up here. We're going to be using the 4th string, the D string, and the B string right throughout this riff. So the one distinctive thing about this riff is the slide into the notes. So I actually I hold the shape. What we're going to end up playing is B on the D string, the 4th string, and G on the B string, the 2nd string. That's where we're going to end up in that shape there, playing those two notes. So what I do is I hold that shape but take it back 2 frets. So I start on the note A, which is on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and I slide from A up to B. And I leave the A ring on the 4th string as I hit the B string and play that note G. So we're actually playing the notes A, slid up to B, and then G. So just watch me do that one more time. Okay, then we take that whole riff down 2 frets. So we do the slide, we end up playing A and F, but we start by sliding from G on the 5th fret of the 4th string up to A, which is on the 7th fret. Just watch me do this bit. So it's the same as we did before, but we're 2 frets down. So we start with G on the D string of the guitar, and we slide that up to A, and then we hit the 6th fret of the 2nd string, which is the note F. So I'll just play it from the start again, and you can get the feel of how those two parts come together. Okay, now the next one we change the shape to this shape. Instead of that shape, we've got our two fingers on top of each other. And I'm using my second finger and my third finger. My second finger is going to be playing the note G on the D string, and my third finger is going to be playing the note E on the B string. So we're both those fingers are on the 5th fret. But again, we slide into it. So we're going to slide from the note F up to G, and then hit the E on the 2nd string. Okay, so if we put those 3 bits together, and now finally we change to this shape. So we're going to be playing G and D. So I've got my 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the D string, the 4th string, my index finger, my 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, the 2nd string, and we go. So I'll piece that together. And then the final 2 notes in the riff are B flat to G, both up on the fat string, the 6th string, the E string of the guitar. Now you can use your little finger and go like this if you want to, but I tend to just use, for a bit more power and a bit more feeling on the big fat string, to use my 3rd finger. And I'll just go, and then put a bit of a vibrato on that last G. Now on the original recording you'll hear that G ring on, but remember, as I showed you in the alternate fingering position that John Fogerty plays, that's really just an open string for him. G becomes the A string, becomes G, and he can just let that ring on like that. Okay, really can't do it in the key of G. There's no real easy way to let that G ring on there and play the riff. No matter where we try and play it, we can't let that big G ring on there. Okay, so I'll just play it slowly one more time because it does that twice, and then that's the riff. That's Fortunate Son. One of the most famous guitar riffs in history of the electric guitar. Not that hard to play, a little tricky in that what you hear on the recording really isn't playable on the 6-string tuning the way we have it. You've really got to tune your guitar down that tone to play it the same way as the original Creedence, as far as getting the exact same effect. Okay, let's try it now on the electric guitar. I hope you've enjoyed working your way through yet another classic guitar riff from John Fogerty and Creedence Clearwater Revival, the 1969 classic Fortunate Son. As always, keep in touch via my website. That's www.brianhayes.biz, B-I-Z, Z for Zorro. Drop me an email if you have any fundamental questions about music tuition. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's a great way to keep in touch with all of the latest videos that I produce for the many instruments that I play and teach. Bye for now.